Alright, so this will be a little complex, and I know the video quality is not great, but I hope you can follow along, because I want to talk about one of the most important parts of getting ready to play, which is building your combat deck. Now there's a whole lot of synergies that you can try to exploit between characters with similar attributes, similar stats, different special abilities. So let me show you my team I've put together. So I'm using the Team 47 card, which simply means I use 4 characters who each have exactly 4 fortitude, one of the easiest conditions to meet. So here's 4 characters with 4 fortitude. Now if you notice, Vingade has 3 ferocity, 7 agility. Gavariel has 2 ferocity, 6 agility. Aeolus has 3 ferocity, 5 agility. Malangong has 3 ferocity and 4 agility. Now Malangong comes with a clone, a 0 glory backup, and Gavariel is worth nothing when you attack and defeat Gavariel. So they all have exactly 3 ferocity. Gavariel has 2. So, as you might have already suspected, I'm building around the card Inner Rage, which says plus 2 damage if your kaiju's base ferocity is 3 or less. So this is 4 damage for a single ferocity. It's really efficient. Now the Team 47 ability, if an inactive kaiju refuses your challenge, your active kaiju gains 2 ferocity and may immediately attack that team's active character. So if I always challenge, I will frequently have 5 ferocity going into a battle, even though I still get the benefit of Inner Rage. So that seemed like a cool combo to try to exploit. Now most of my characters have pretty good agility. So the other secret is I'm trying to use Finishing Blow. I only have 1 copy of this. I hope to get another copy soon. It requires 3 ferocity, which is a lot. Of course, I can always use power to pay for a little more. But this is plus 3 damage if your opponent has no combat cards left in hand. So my plan is to do lots of little attacks, get my opponent to use up all their cards, and then hit them with Finishing Blow when they can't defend to knock them out. So to that end, I have 2 copies of Ready for Anything. It requires 1 agility. It does no damage. It makes them potentially discard a card with a knockdown if they try to counterattack, which is great. So it's a very, very cheap card. It lets me attack and do no damage, but I'm just trying to wear them down until they have no cards in hand. And it potentially does a knockdown, which makes them lose a card, which gets me closer to that condition. Then I have 2 copies of Dropkick. Dropkick is a great attack. Only 2 agility for 2 damage, potentially 3 if you have wings, which one of my characters, Aeolus, has wings. So that's really great. And it says, if your opponent's card has a toughness of 4 or more, this gains knockdown. Now that's not a damage effect, so if they just play a big defense card, they have to discard a card, which again gets me closer to the point when I have cards and they don't. Okay? Inner Rage doesn't really fit this mold, but it's just a really, really great card. They're going to be so scared of my Inner Rage, they want to play those high defense cards, and then Dropkick will knock them down. For my last 2 attacks, I've got Flail, which is 1 ferocity, 1 agility, and it's a technique, which means it can be played as an attack or as a defense. Having some techniques is really good, gives you a lot of flexibility. And then it says Combo. You keep the initiative. So when you play Flail, you keep the initiative and you just get to attack again. All right. So again, I attack and do probably no damage, but that doesn't really matter because I'm just trying to attack a lot so that they lose all their cards and then I get to knock them out. My last attack card here is Pounce. 3 agility, but only 1 ferocity. Remember, I have lots of agility, but no ferocity. This does 3 damage, 4 for Aeolus, who has wings, and it has the ability to jump and counterattacks and deal no damage. So this is good. This is a way to make sure I don't get hit back in return and still have a reasonably large attack card that I can pull out if my primary technique isn't working. So those 9 cards are my attack cards. I know they're attack cards because they have the sword icon. So this is a technique. It can be played on attack or defense, but it still has a sword. So this is 9 sword icon cards. I combine that with 9 shield icon cards, and then 2 combat events. So then my deck meets the requirements of the same number of swords and shields, and at least 20 cards overall. So a simple deck to make is 10 swords and 10 shields. But I really wanted to use the power transfer combat event. Play at the start of combat to draw a combat card. So if I don't think I'm going to use it, I can just play it immediately and replace it in my hand, so it costs me nothing. Play when a member of your team is KO'd to gain 3 power and heal 2 damage from another member of your team. So remember, Gaveriel is worth nothing when she is defeated, and Malangong has a dream copy that is worth nothing when defeated. So I'm going to essentially have 5 characters on my team, 2 of whom my opponents really don't want to knock out because they get no benefit from it. So I'm going to have a lot of characters around, so I'm going to have a lot of characters knocked out probably, and so I should have some good opportunities to play power transfer. That will help me not get into the situation where all my characters are really damaged and I have to put some damaged character out to potentially lose. For defense cards, I try to play very cheap defense cards. Here's Guard. It's the best cheap defense card in the game. It literally costs nothing. Just toughness 2, and it's absolutely free. I would put in a second copy of that if I had it. Meditation. This is a technique. It can be used on attack for just 1 damage, which is terrible, or has a toughness of 2, which is not great. However, if you take no damage when you play this, you heal 1 damage counter. So if you use this as an attack, you almost certainly won't be hurt unless they play a counterattack. So you can, for 1 ferocity and 2 power, heal a damage off your character. Now I have some counterattacks. I'm using Backhand, which is a 1 damage counterattack, or 2 if I have claws, and Quick Knee, which is a 1 damage counterattack, which the Quick Knee also blocks damage from chain and fierce attacks, which is great. I'm doing a bit of a focus on counterattacks because Vingade has the ability that counterattacks do +1 damage if they deal damage. And then 2 of my characters have claws, which makes the backhand a little bit better. Now 2 of my characters also have spikes, so I'm playing Bristling Spikes. Again, it's not a very big defense card. It does cost 2 ferocity, so you have to think hard about playing it. But if somebody hits me with it, they're going to take 2 damage as well, because I have spikes. Here's Take the Pain, 1 ferocity, 1 agility. But if I take damage, I gain 2 more ferocity. So again, overcoming the weakness of my characters that they don't have a lot of ferocity to begin with. And then Natural Armor. This is an interesting card, just 1 ferocity, and it has a toughness 1. But after cards are revealed, I get to discard more cards from my hand, and every card I discard is another toughness. And if I take nothing, then I get to draw another card. So I'm trying to have a card advantage over my opponent. That's my idea. I'm doing a lot of knockdowns and things that take advantage of the fact that I will have more cards than you will. So I think that Natural Armor should work pretty well, and it's a good, cheap way to defend myself. So that's the thought process that went into building my combat deck. And next video, we will see it in action.